This is way more on all of this string stuff than any one bagpiper should talk about, but hey, it's what I do. Hello, I'm Matt Willis Bagpiper, and on this channel I make videos to make you a stronger and more confident piper. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, comment below with any thoughts you might have, and share with other pipers in your life. I also give Skype lessons if you want more personalized instruction, but more on that later. Alright everyone, I wanted to make a quick video with I think my final opinions on this whole hemp versus linen string versus polyester thread. I was going to do one more test using a mix of waxed hemp and regular hemp to have a similar thing as to the waxed and unwaxed yellow hemp here. So I went ahead and rehemped both of my tenor bottoms with beeswax hemp and natural hemp to see how it would stack up against the waxed and unwaxed yellow hemp here, because I had had quite a lot of success. I liked the feel of this combo the best of the three, of polyester string or hemp or what have you. Well, I found that without some additional hemp seal over the top of the beeswax and regular hemp, it was still just a little catchy and grabby. Once I put this hemp seal, which again is just it's like the wax ring a toilet sits in. They sell it in these nice containers, but you can just buy the wax ring and stick it in any sort of sealable container and it works fine. Once I added the hemp seal, I had just as much smoothness in my tuning as I did with the yellow, so that was fantastic. And then it happened. Here in Dallas, we had about a week of just solid, non-stop rain. The humidity levels, which I keep in my office here about 50% all the time anyways, skyrocketed to well above 70 on many days. And what I found was all of the non-polyester joints with that level of humidity had started to swell. And I keep my pipes oiled, I keep the exteriors protected, and I did have the hemp seal on all of the joints to try to keep the water out. But with that much moisture in the environment, every joint, whether it was the yellow or the natural hemp here, had swollen, and it was rather difficult actually getting these drone bottoms out of their stocks. I feared the base in particular because it had the yellow, which did swell more than the regular hemp, I will say that, but all of them had swelled. Now, which one hadn't, and which one was I still having absolutely no issues with? My blowpipe right here. This one I didn't ever redo. This is still the polyester I put on, I don't know, a year ago or so. The polyester joint for my blowpipe still worked just great, and it wasn't swelling at all, and it was the same fit that it had had the whole time. As you might be aware, I've rehemped this set of pipes many, many times doing some experiments, and I kind of want to be done with it. I don't want to make another video on hemp. I think I have more videos on how to string a bagpipe than anybody, or maybe all of the other videos put together. So I plan on this being the last one, and I am going back to the polyester. I'm going to go ahead and start removing the hemp right now. If you want like an old school, everything natural, the way it's been done forever, man, I totally respect that, and I think that's kind of super cool. For me, I need my instrument to just work in the moment. I need it to be readily tunable, and I don't need it getting damaged because some of my joints are getting swollen to the point of almost getting stuck. I was not given this bagpipe. I paid for it just like everybody else, and I don't want to have it get cracked because of my lack of care in maintaining my hemp. So I'm going back to polyester. I've already actually redone all of the bottoms. So you got the outside, you got the base, and you got the middle right here. And as I say in all my videos, in case this is the only one you're watching on this, I like to make the middle a different color. So I'm going to be using black polyester string on all of these joints, except for the middle bottom, where I want it yellow so I can readily tell that it's the middle and don't have to worry about them getting mixed up. When it comes to the chanter, on this one, it's orange, as you can see, but there is a little bit of yellow on here. I did have a chanter fall out using just the polyester, so what I plan to do for the chanter is get it 99% of the way there with polyester, so I just have to put maybe one string of yellow or regular hemp around it, but something that bites into the wood just a little bit more, because the polyester is actually so smooth, it can kind of work itself out. And remember, this is the chanter. This is fighting gravity. All the rest of the instrument parts are sitting downward in their stocks. This one is not, and I don't want my chanter falling out again. So I do plan to add just that little bit of extra hemp. I don't know if it matters if it's waxed or unwaxed. This is a very small amount of hemp, but again, just something to make sure that the chanter stays nice and secure. And when it comes to the practice chanter, I've been using polyester string for quite a long time. Yeah, I know it's yellow. You can get the yellow that looks right. You can see actually standing water on that. I actually forgot to take this apart last night, which is kind of nasty. Sorry about that. But again, it's wet, actively wet with water on it, and yet it fits great. That polyester on these joints has really been a lifesaver when it comes to my chanters and making sure that they stay readily, well, take-offable. In real-world conditions, I'm going to have to go with the polyester thread. I find, for me, it just works the best. Yeah, it's ever so slightly firmer on the tuning to get the kind of fit you want, and I am going to have to add the hemp seal a little bit more often, as I discussed in my previous video on this, but that's easier to deal with than the constant adjustment of string that I'm finding I'm having to do even with traditional hemp. So the traditional hemp swelled much less than the traditional yellow, I have to give it that, but it still swelled in the moisture, and the polyester here is not, so take that as you will. In some of my earliest videos on stringing your bagpipe, I mentioned Teflon tape and why I don't use it, but I haven't discussed it lately, so I'll go briefly into it again here. Teflon tape is the slipperiest substance basically known to man, and we're using it in this case as a tension fit. And that doesn't seem to, one, make a lot of sense to me, and two, pipe makers like Dave Atherton actually have on the sheet that comes with the set of Atherton pipes, if you use Teflon tape on the instrument, he'll void the warranty. And I know that's true for a number of Irish flute makers as well. The amount of force and torque you're putting on the joint is much higher than you might realize because of how slippery the Teflon tape is. I know there's probably going to be some comments below about people saying, well, it's worked for me. Well, great, if it works for you, that's fantastic, but just because it works for you doesn't mean it's a good idea. Also, people have talked about the threading action in Teflon tape, and to be honest, I just don't see how that's possible. There's no grain or anything in the Teflon that would allow it to take on such qualities. So I think it's all just in your head. I don't have any problems tuning my joints without Teflon. And, you know, when I move it, I probably do use the same direction all the time. Maybe I'm threading even the string that's on here, but I've never found, one, that occurred, or two, that I have any sort of issue assuming that the fit is right and it had gotten too tight. That was one of the problems. When I was having to reach up, it was taking a lot of force when these hemp joints had started to swell. The polyester joints, like on my Robbies, which I never redid, I got my Robbies out, and even with all the moisture, the tension on those was just the same as it had been before. The only place I do use Teflon tape is on the actual threaded, and I don't mean thread like this, I mean thread like a screw. Like the threaded bottoms of an easy drone, you want to make sure this isn't leaking. We'll get into that in a future drone read video. But that's a great place to use it. Where your mouthpiece attaches to your blowpipe is, again, another great place to use some Teflon tape. This is where you'd use Teflon tape in a plumbing fitting, so I think it's fine to use it here. So those are the reasons I don't use Teflon tape. Do what works for you in your world, but you're not going to see me putting Teflon tape on any of my bagpipes, except, again, where there's literal threads to connect pieces. Well, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I know this is way more on all of this string stuff than any one bagpiper should talk about, but hey, it's what I do. If you got something out of this video, please think about giving it a like, subscribing to the channel, sharing with other pipers in your life, and commenting below with the thoughts you might have, and whether you agree or disagree with me and my opinions here. If you want to go that extra mile, I do have a Patreon where as little as $1 a month goes a really long way to helping support the channel and have me keep doing silly videos on bagpipe string like this. So go ahead and head over to www.patreon.com/mattpiper and go check that out. You often get early access to videos and some other perks, so I hope to see you there. If you want more personalized instruction, I do give Skype lessons. Go ahead and contact me at www.mattpiper.com or email me at matt@mattpiper.com, and we'll get you going. I'm working with people all over the planet. It's fantastic, and I hope to get to work with you soon. All right, everybody, I'm Matt Willis Bagpiper. Until next time, cheers.